Hey, Killface. Am I? Tired. I honestly barely slept last night. So, very tired today. But I did shower. I got groceries. I got Goshis. I did Goshis. I showered. So, and now I'm gonna play this game. Hey, color purple. Hey, Venom. I finally finished reading Wizard of Earthsea. So I'll need to record my review of this soon. Here? No. No, it's Pop Shop brand. Yeah. Pop Shop brand cream soda. Hey, Joel. It comes in a glass bottle because it's old school like that. Trying to go for like a retro feel for it. Told my man to repeat season 4 of Lord X because he watches it. Hey, Comic Brook. It was really good. Season 4 was really good. Did not really expect Mariner's backstory to be tied in to Nova Squadron from that one episode of Next Generation. Cream soda? I like cream soda. Cream soda's good. Is Rococo Paris the same as Edwardian? Hey, Diego. I have no idea. I don't even know what those words mean. Rococo and Edwardian? I don't even know what the hell those are. You slipped into Greek there. As far as I'm concerned. We're supposed to be in France, not Greece. Get stay? Well, thanks for coming in, Killface. We'll see you later, Killface. No, I didn't get together with my mom this week. Probably get together with her next week. I think Rococo is 1700s. Well, pretty much anyone would know better than I would, I think. That is not stuff that I've studied at all. That is not stuff that I have read anything about at all. Hey, Anonymous. Rousseau was from that period and helped launch the French Revolution. Good stuff. Yeah, I haven't, I didn't read that book of the, Durant Story of Civilization. I never read Rousseau and Revolution. I read up to The Age of Voltaire, I think, was the last of the Story of Civilization books that I read. And those are thick enough books that, like, I enjoy them, but they are thick-ass books. You're gonna blow my nose. Give me a second here. It's a bit better. Anywho. Probably not going to get too many more people coming in, so may as well continue. Viscount Jean-Pierre Ambroise. Any particular gossip I'm looking for? Nope. Alright, so watched S-Jam today and it was crazy. So let's start off with a party. What's the next party? Also military. A lot of military parties. Alright. Viscount Jean-Pierre Ambroise requests the attendance of Ivetico to their military ball. This grand party is sure to be a most spectacular display of gentile gaiety. Probably genteel gaiety, I suppose. No peril, so I don't need to bother with the wine. Run-of-the-mill interaction with a lone aristocrat. Lost coin, blah. Wager, blah. Suppose go with this one. Just as you're about to seize upon some valuable gossip, you're interrupted by a presumptuous interloper. Perhaps there's a way to evade his rude questions, and to claim your prize in time. You stroll about the party at a leisurely pace, seeking out your next source of gossip and rumors. In fact, you've noticed a frantically conversing cluster that might be able to give you just that. However, just as you're starting to approach this group, a gentleman intercepts you, wearing a strangely serious look on his face. Bonjour, madame. Madame de Co, I know that our dear host invited you as some sort of social curiosity, what with your rather memorable entrance to Paris' social scene. However, I want to make something very clear. This event, and others like it, are for people who have served our nation, and for those who are directly connected to that noble cause. To my knowledge, you are neither of those things. Subtly, you attempt to circumvent him, but he smoothly steps directly into your path. You'll not be able to reach your quarry with him here. So, pray tell, what are you doing here? Last I checked, there's nothing wrong with me being an ardent supporter of our troops. That's all you are, then. Just a harmless supporter of our troops who simply enjoys parties for their own sake. You really want me to believe that? I suppose that does make sense, he quips without an ounce of doubt. Wow, he's not very bright. With his presumptuous curiosity sated, he leaves. Now that the boorish interloper is gone, you're finally able to engage in the good, honest pastime of spying on strangers for personal profit. In fact, you arrive just in time to overhear something valuable before the guests in that particular group disperse. Moving with the flow of the crowd, you manage to disperse alongside them, and arouse no suspicion in the process. All in all, a grand success. Bleh. Bleh. Man, I just as soon skip this turn, frankly. Well, I need the gossip. A rather run-of-the-mill interaction with a lone aristocrat at a party. You might find yourself having many like it in the future. You stroll between the tents in the field, examining all of the different groups sheltering from the sun. This is one of the few places where you can attend a party frequented by both commoners and the nobility, and still they instinctively filter themselves by rank. Nevertheless, every guest feels deeply connected with every other. Except for you. Your reconnaissance eventually leads you to a veteran standing by himself between the tents. He's standing alone, but doesn't seem particularly perturbed by this fact. He's wearing the ribbons of some kind of gallant or knightly order, but those badges honestly all look the same to you.
Ah, salut, madame,
He says with a curious informality.
Don't worry about feeling out of place. I rarely come to these things either. Unlike some of the souls here, I swore to myself that I wouldn't let my time in the army be the most interesting thing that ever happened to me. Though, every time I return, I seem to overhear things salacious enough to remind me why I stay away. I'm being dreadfully rude. Please, how are you enjoying yourself? Medium credibility challenge. What's so awful that it could drive a gallant man like you away? You truly want to know? I don't know what drives such ghoulish curiosity, but if you really seek this prize, I won't deny you. Cheap military gossip, hurrah! With the details of the rumor firmly secured, you divert the conversation to some relatively tame but still interesting stories. Enough to be daring, but not upsetting. Just as the conversation starts to slow, you find a way to retreat, without arousing too much suspicion. They really want me to steal some money. Or bet some money. Four turns and none of them interesting. The gossip is more useful to me. This is the exact same, literally the exact same interaction I just had, so I'm not even going to bother repeating it. And I suppose go with... Same interaction 3 times in a row. Quitting your job tomorrow? Ooh, nice, Troll Police. Congratulations. Quitting one's job always feels good. Ah, but I don't think it was right. Stories concerning the crown.
Ooh.
5 pieces of cheap military gossip. King plans to weigh in on a legal case where an enlisted man struck an officer during an argument at a local theater. Pushed the military towards the revolution. An older veteran who stands accused of murder has been discovered to be recovering care packages delivered by soldiers. Sell that one. Increase or decrease the power of the military. Push the military towards the revolution. So I got a little bit of money out of it, and not sure if that actually did affect. Man. Really need to get the military. I need to get some good military secrets to push the military further towards the revolution. Because I believe I've only got like 2 months. I think August is when the revolution itself occurs. Um, Rendezvous location, I suppose, just to unlock it. Today's walk is particularly pleasant as the sky is clear and the sun is shining. The crowds in this part of the city are picking up and, out of curiosity, you head in the same general direction. The sight that greets your eyes next is nothing short of surreal. A massive garden, dotted with all sorts of fantastic buildings. Small Egyptian pyramids, Roman columns, Turkish tents, and more all cluster around a sparkling lake. People in costumes strut about the different buildings, enthralling tourists with fantastic tales of dubious authenticity. Still, it looks like everyone is having fun. This must be Parc Monceau, created by the fabulous wealthy Duke of Chartres. Taking note of your surroundings, you jot the location down in your journal. It's fun and tacky, the kind of place to take someone that's adventurous, but doesn't take themselves too seriously. This is absolutely ridiculous, and I can't wait to come back. After a quick loop around the gardens, you head home. Already you're dreaming of an excuse to head back, and trying to figure out who else you know that might appreciate Parc Monceau as much as you do. Some shocking gossip. Yeah. An unusual man of science has a proposition for you, and it has something to do with rumors in the city. You decide to take a walk around the city, hoping to stumble across something new that might help you. Just as you cross the street to avoid an oncoming wagon, you're approached by a colorfully dressed young man. He studies you carefully for a moment before speaking. Give me a second to come up with a voice for him. Excusez-moi, madame, but you're Yvette de Co, non? Why, in fact, I am. Ah, it's a pleasure to meet you at last. Yay, credibility first. He's young, so... I am Michael Pelletier, he says while performing a simple bow. I'm a chemist in training, and general bon vivant. I've been told that you're an unofficial reporter for Le Trompette de Peuple. In the name of a little experiment I am performing, I might have a lead for you. In fact, I might have two. Which would you prefer to know more about, the crown or the revolution? I'd prefer to learn more about the revolution. Ah, a wise choice. He steps in closer and starts to tell you about some of the more interesting goings-on in the revolution. At first, you were skeptical of the quality of the story he could provide, but you find yourself surprised. This could actually be quite valuable. Hey, J-Dot! Been a while. With that, it seems that our business is concluded, Michael says, stepping back from you. Before you can say another word, he leaves as suddenly as he arrived. Your brow furrows as you consider the situation. You have some valuable gossip, but why? What could he possibly stand to gain from giving this to you? Why only one of them? With a sigh, you brush aside these swirling concerns. You have something good for Pierre. That's what matters right now. Your mind made up, you continue to go about your day exploring the city. What's going on? Nothing much. Just searching for gossip. Searching for gossip and hoping that I can have another encounter with Anarad. Oops. A trio of third estate delegates in Paris for the Estat General were detained by the Gay Rail. Were the Gay harassing Honorable Ben or forced to act against boorish provocation? Increase the power of the revolution significantly. Good morning, madame. How's the rent is due today? As on my wages, pay your rent and services. Merci beaucoup, madame. Camille says with curtsy as you hand her the money. Countess Joanna Gontal requests the attendance of Yvette Decaux to their founding feast. This intimate party is sure to be the very height of joyous revelry. Military? Why is it all military? Weird. Going to check something here real quick. Okay. Just want to see if any of what I've done has changed anything yet.
Huh. Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. Revolution more powerful than the crown. Looking for allegiances. Military most powerful minor faction in Paris. Blah, blah, blah. You get drawn into a conversation about the church and the crown. Some aristocrats are angry that the First Estate is allowed to send priests that weren't born in France as representatives of the Estat General. What say you? One of the patrons asks you suddenly. I mean, I don't really care. The crown is right. Only the French should decide the fate of France. Gained favor with members of the crown, lost with members of the church. I'm just curious. Nope, nothing had changed from when I last looked, so. I guess this is probably just the one I just saved, so... So that was, there was no real point to that, to going there, so screw it. Alright. Foreign powers. After nightfall, you join Armand at his home on the other side of Paris. He's promised you a surprise of some sort. Hey, Jordan. Listening for the moment? You wait until late evening before you walk to Armand's home. He told you that he has something special for you, and it isn't related to politics. The very possibility of this brings a giggle to your lips. You're fairly certain that just being engaged to Armand has made you more informed about the political landscape of France than some of the ministers in Versailles. He can't help talking about it, and you soak up knowledge without even trying to do it. When you finally arrive, you knock on the door, but there's no answer. You wait for a while before knocking again, more insistently this time.
Come in, the door's unlocked,
you hear him call from the inside. Well, that's certainly unlike him already. Should men conspiring against the king leave their doors unlocked? You step inside and find the house to be more cleaned up than the last time you were here. It still has the Spartan feeling of an outpost, but at least all the books and papers have been organized into reasonable piles. Armand calls from the direction of the kitchen.
Please make yourself at home, ma chérie.
You manage to find a seat at the dining room table, which has been cleaned off, and has been covered with a fresh tablecloth on it. There's a bottle of red wine, already uncorked, which has been left out to breathe on the table. After a few minutes, Armand steps out of the kitchen holding 2 clay bowls.
I hope you're hungry for cassoulet.
Not all I'm hungry for. Wow. Am I right, ladies? Dinner and a show.
Ooh la la.
She knows what I'm talking about. You ain't got nipples? I mean, that's a nipple right there. I'm pretty sure that's a nipple right there. The other nipple's covered by the towel, but I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be a nipple. Maybe? Actually, that does seem a bit... Well, maybe a bit far off to the side to be a nipple. Maybe? Okay, I'm not entirely... I think that's probably a nipple.
Pardon moi, but why are you looking at me like that?
Oh, I'm just admiring your new choices in fashion.
Well, I'm glad you find it appetizing,
he says, then puts the bowls down at your spots, then takes a seat. He pauses to pour you both some wine. Looking more closely at the bottle, you immediately recognize that it's the same vintage that you shared at the scene the night before Armand left for Paris. That night feels like a lifetime ago. And yeah, there's the other nipple. So yeah, he has nipples. Long-awaited reunions and chasing our dreams, he toasts. You both clink glasses and drink deep. It tastes exactly as you remember, and brings a flood of memories with it. You dig into the hearty stew of duck, sausage, and white beans. It's not haute cuisine, but it's flavorful and satisfying.
As you can tell, I've had to learn how to cook myself, and at the risk of sounding arrogant, I have to say that I've taken to it quite well. Though, no matter how good I'll get, I must admit that I'll always miss Camille's cooking. That little maid is astonishing in the kitchen. I certainly envy you for still having her. Speaking of which, how are you finding her? I think she's an absolute delight. Isn't she, though?
There were days where I thought her absolutely mad, but I was eventually charmed by her indefatigable optimism. Gain favor with Armand, yay! The conversation dies for a moment while you both finish your meals. At the very end, you use a small hunk of bread to sop up the remaining stew. It tastes absolutely delightful. I wanted to thank you one last time for joining us at our event. I promise to stay away from politics, so I'll not delve into the details, but it was lovely to have your support. Seeing you there made me proud. I also wanted to say that I'm sorry about Johanna. I'm worried about her, and after that night, I think she's been getting worse, not better. He sighs. I know she's not given a good account of herself to you so far, but when we first met, she wasn't like this. She was adventurous, daring, and always so full of energy for the society and our plans. She was inspiring, like nothing was impossible. Then again, whenever you came up in conversation, she would find a way to switch the subject, but I just assumed that she was more interested in our work than in personal affairs. The night after our event, she and I had a serious quarrel. She started screaming about everything she'd sacrificed. She kept saying that this was her last and only chance. She's barely spoken to me since then. I understand at least some of it. She single-handedly financed this whole venture. What do you think she meant by last and only chance? He pauses to think, dredging up old memories and viewing them in a new light. While I don't know for certain, my theory is that she has bankrupted herself funding this society. She also must believe that some great reward awaits her at the end of this, and if this fails, then she will be left with nothing. Favor with Armand. Together, the two of you easily finish the bottle of wine, and without skipping a beat, Armand produces another one, nearly identical. He refills both of your glasses. The dinner brings with it an almost overpowering sense of familiarity, like the conversations you had in the village together only took place but a few minutes ago, and you're just now picking up exactly where you left off. You look up from your wine to see Armand staring at you with a ferocious intensity. It appears that the dinner is over, yet I believe we are still hungry. Bow, chicka, bow, chicka, chicka, bow, bow, chicka, chicka, bow. I think I can help with that. Let me clear the table. Kiss him. You stand up from your seat and pull the tablecloth off to the side, sending all the empty dishes and bottles scattering around the floor. Armand doesn't even blink. You hike up your skirts, kneel on the table, and crawl across it towards him. He reaches out to you, and the tension in the air only grows thicker. He stands up, and you fling yourself against him, as the two of you kiss for the first time in so long. Your eyes are closed, but you can feel his free hand feeling its way up your body, undoing the ribbons that hold your dress shut. You run your hands up his chest as your bodice slides open, and you already feel his hands reaching for the laces of your corset. You have gained quite a bit of favor with Armand, if that wasn't obvious. That's pretty funny. Eventually, sometime later, you start paying attention to the rest of the world again. Armand is in the kitchen, fetching you some water. Ma chérie, he calls from the kitchen. If you don't mind, I'm going to take some of these leftovers upstairs to Johanna's room, just so she has something to eat when she gets back. It might serve as a decent olive branch. You shrug and leave him to it. You're not exactly dying of thirst after all. Upstairs, you hear the sound of breaking pottery, followed by a string of frantic cursing. Armand runs downstairs, eyes wide with shock. Johanna's room is completely empty. She must have moved out completely in the middle of the night. That is not a good sign. He grimaces and pulls at his hair. I'll look into this later, but I'm going to tell you a secret just in case. He sits down near you and hands you a letter from his pocket, before continuing in a low voice. Johanna de Jardin's real name is Johanna van Holbein. She doesn't yet know that I learned this about her. You look down at the letter and see the name Johanna van Holbein in the signature, but you can't read the rest of it as it's written in German. I researched the name a little on my own, and to my knowledge it appears that the von Holbeins are an Austrian noble family in deep decline. It might explain why she started this society, as she might hope that it could reverse her family's fortune. I still believe in the righteousness of our cause, but it's likely what has kept her so driven. You think about the signet ring of hers that you found in the house. The mysterious sigil is likely her family's crest. She wanted Armand to have it because it would be enough to have people in Austria help her. That means her family must still be relatively well known. I'm telling you this because I'm worried that she might do something extreme. Johanna may be a lot of things, but forgiving is not one of them. If something occurs, we should be prepared. Totally have to read his 50 Shades of Grey? No! Shit, there's way better smut novels that I can read. Merde! I need to stop reaching out to everyone else in the society. I need to make sure that they're still safe. I'm sorry, ma chérie, but I'll need to depart immediately. If it's any consolation, I'll be able to walk you halfway home. Outside, the two of you walk together in an awkward silence. The mood of the evening has certainly taken some sharp turns. Finally, as you find yourself around halfway home, Armand turns to you and says, I believe this is where we must part ways. Good night, my love, and please be sure to stay safe. Why not? Because that book is garbage. Read us some smut. With a kiss on your cheek, he departs into the night to rally his fellow Habsburgians. As he disappears into the darkness, you wonder when you'll see him next. Ah, crap, that's not what I wanted to... I didn't actually mean to do that. Dang it. Read it? No, but I've heard enough about it. Give me a second, I want to see if I can... Ah, damn it. I didn't mean to come in. I don't even know what this one is. I didn't mean to come in here. You decide to spend the day walking by the river in order to get some fresh air. As you come upon the docks, you find the beach port to be busy as usual, with sailors, porters, and merchants moving around like buzzing bees in a hive. One such merchant approaches and greets you in a strongly accented French.
Hello, madame. May I ask you a favor?
He asks in a lower voice, glancing about. Is that a cat?
Why, yes, she is. And a great cat at that.
Kitty. Kitty. Alright, I don't feel so bad about doing this one anymore.
I know that many are suspicious of the little creatures, but I've yet to meet one that I didn't like.
I've met one I don't like. Did not like at all.
I'm Chekhov, by the way. I'm an importer and exporter of beers and fine spirits.
Hey, Lullifs. When the Among Us is sus.
You see, what I need you to do is find someone for me around here called Watchman Bernardin. He's tall, very thin, and... Declare your goods,
orders an approaching watchman of the Gay Royale. His voice is monotone and bored. fruit-based spirit, rakicha to be precise. In fact, it's the finest spirit in all of...
Manifest, no!
He barks angrily at Jacob, eyeing the cat with some level of discomfort.
Save the mongering for the market.
Ugh, paganistic things. You manage to hear the archer mutter to himself under his breath as he makes a small sign of the cross. Oh, I don't think a manifest is necessary, Jacob replies with an uncomfortable smile. Well, one of your comrades, Watchman Bernardin, and I have an agreement regarding...
Bernardin is sick. I'm covering his shift on my day off, the archer replies sternly. Now give me the manifest or I'll be forced to confiscate your wares.
Jacob glances towards you significantly, making a small gesture to the archer. Yeah, okay, let's use the cat. Let's use the cat to our advantage. Oh, Monsieur Watchman, do you like the cat? Please let me show her to you.
Don't you dare bring that thing anyone near me,
the watchman growls as you lovingly pluck the cat from Jacob's shoulder and start to approach the official with it. He's trying to intimidate you, but you can sense the slightest prickle of fear in his voice. Without another word, you simply advance on the man, holding the furry creature like a weapon. It meows.
To the devil with you and that revolting beast,
the archer replies, throwing up his hands in disgust and turning away from you both. I mean, good kitty. Good kitty. Without another word, the archer disappears, presumably so he can bother other people on the docks. Oh, fantastic, madame! I could not have invented that officious pig better myself. How can I possibly repay you? How about some of that rakicha that you've touted so much? You're truly a woman of fine taste, then, he replies, opening a crate to pull out a bottle for you. You don't recognize the writing on the label, but the liquid inside is clear like water. Yay, credibility! Drink it straight, as you would a spirit like brandy, but be careful. Its sweetness is what makes it dangerous. Much like yourself, he says with a wink. Now I must get back to work before some other nosy official starts inquiring about any discrepancies between my manifests and my products. So the two of you part ways. Not long after that, you decide to head home with your strange new prize and a powerful sense of satisfaction. Is it a game where we farm and make crops and then produce a thriving business, jarring and canning? Pass. Another military party. Countess Agnes Foy. To triumph. Festive party sure to be the finest example of merry celebration. It's all military parties that I'm getting invited to now. This is a triumph from Duke Gaspard Amboise. Suppose I'll wear this one again. Zelda? Zelda's, it's too complicated a game for me. Yeah, let's reduce my apparel down. Hopefully I can get something good here. Oh hey, Wings and Women. The chemistry student, Michael Pelletier, is in need of someone to help him gain the attention of a comely young lady. Boring. Wager, boring. Lost coin, boring. Yeah. It's just going to be the same three options turn after turn, isn't it? Alright. Apparently I am going to be a wing woman. The chemistry student, Michael Pelletier is in need of someone to help him gain the attention of a comely young lady. Are you up to the task? Don't like the open world? We can help you decide stuff and things. I mean, with it's more just the combat and especially with Tears of the Kingdom. It just feels like there's so much to keep track of. And building things and just I suck at video games, is the issue, really. As you stroll through the party, you spot a vaguely familiar figure. You remember meeting him in the streets of Paris. Not that long ago. Paris. He gave you a piece of gossip as part of some kind of experiment. Bonjour, Yvette, Michael says as you approach. What have you been up to? How did that strange experiment of yours turn out? It's still a work in progress, he replies with a mysterious smile. Interact well with it? It's more complicated than I'd be interested in playing. Beyond that, if I were to play that game, it wouldn't be streaming, it would be a Let's Play. Also, it's just I'd have to figure out how to set it up to be able to stream or record it, to figure out how to record it. And I mean, obviously lots of people do that, but I don't really know how. It's still a work in progress, he replies with a mysterious smile. However, my progress has been waylaid by other worldly pursuits. You notice that Michael is looking at something over your shoulder. Something, or someone. More specifically, my scientific studies have been waylaid by my romantic ones. It's a PC game where we can do spooky shit together. I don't like spooky. I'm not big on spooky. Unfortunately, the woman I've set my heart upon is already being courted by a jealous and tiresome fellow. It's a situation that has put me at my wit's end. In fact, I could very much use your assistance if you were so willing. Just lead me to your problem, and I shall handle the rest. Fantastique! I needed to go forth and separate the two people over there, he continues, subtly indicating towards a young couple talking together in a different tent. Once the lovely madame is on her own, I shall have the chance to make my affections known. Be wizards. I would accompany you myself, but I think my rival is a little too canny for that, Michael says, handing you a small rolled-up piece of paper tied with a little bow. A message between potential lovers. Give her this, if you can. With this in mind, you take your leave of him and begin the process of steeling yourself while you walk over to the couple that he indicated. It seems that no matter how experienced you become, there's something disquieting about the prospect of approaching a group of strangers, alone and unintroduced. With your nervousness calmed to a mere dull roar, you approach these would-be lovers in the middle of conversation. The lady immediately makes room for you in the conversation. Oh, bonjour, madame. Please, come join us. I was just relating how I've been learning to play the harpsichord. I'm hoping to be part of a recital by the end of the year. I don't know, Jared. I mean, there's I like visual novels. I like this kind of game. I like basic games. Basics, with fun stories. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much all the games I've got are mostly just visual novels, yeah. Even my wish list is mostly that. I do have one. Hey, Frank. I do have one sort of JRPG inspired game, like game made with like RPG Maker. So that kind of old, Super Nintendo JRPG visual style. I do have one of those. But I mean, obviously, that's not really a open world type of thing. Yep. Hi, Franks. You step into the circle of their conversation, and the man says,
I was just telling her what pieces she should watch out for in her recital, as they might prove to be too difficult for a novice.
Yes, you've brought up many things that would make my success impossible, the musician says with a barely concealed sigh. You can tell she wants to leave this conversation, but doesn't yet have a way out. Let's do it this way. Monsieur, when I overheard your wise counsel, I just had to see you up close for myself.
Well, I'm very excited to hear that, madame,
He replies, a little too enthusiastically while he looks you up and down.
Just, who are you again?
Really? This is outrageous, the budding harpsichordist says with this blatant shift of romantic intent. However, you notice that this admonishment comes with only a token amount of anger and disgust. This is merely the perfect excuse for her to leave the conversation. Hey, Samoan. How's Seely? Seely is still good. Hey, Kermit. Least of the painful? Probably not. Probably won't play that one. She turns and leaves from your group at high speed, before anyone can attempt to make her stay. Where you watch her bump into Michael, who just happened to be walking in the same area. As their conversation begins together, you notice the young student shoot you a grateful wink before he and the object of his affections disappear into the crowd. Oblivious, the boorish gentleman attempts to turn his attentions on you. You manage to deflect his clumsy advances with relative ease. Still, you don't want to be rude, so you humor him for just as long as is necessary before you also take your leave. Now that you're alone, you realize that you feel an unfamiliar shape in the pockets of your dress. You check, and realize that Michael seems to have slipped you a note at some point without you knowing it. On it, you find some gossip related to the host of this party, presumably as payment for your services here. Outrageous military gossip, nice! That should shift the military's loyalty quite a bit. All in all, this feels like it was a productive use of your time. Blah. Blah. blah conversation I've had before.
Oh.
Yep, these are just all the same conversations now.
Ooh. Huh. Hmm.
Screw it, I'll do this one. Chambermaid has been charged with returning a lost pouch of coins. Perhaps you can assist her with such an endeavor. Feeling the need to take a quick break, you step away from the crowds and take a moment to just breathe. Let Seely sit in your lap while you play. He might be French. While you're composing yourself, a chambermaid approaches you. She's holding a small, unmarked pouch of coins. Pardonnez-moi, madame. I found this wallet while I was tidying up. I took it to my employer, but they don't recognize it. I've been told not to rest until the owner is found. Do you know who this might belong to? Otherwise... I vote yes to all Seely content. One moment. Seal-wee. Seal-wee. He was dancing along to the music. Yeah. Can't really balance him on my shoulder, I don't think. Yeah, I don't really have a good way of balancing on my shoulder, unfortunately. Do you ever slap him across the snout and then give him a deep French kiss? No? Of course I don't do that. I can only assume that half of it is mine and the other half yours. Oh, madame, you're absolutely right. I can't believe I forgot, she replies with outrageously faint surprise. The two of you split the money found in the wallet, and the chambermaid tucks the emptied article into her bodice. I can't imagine anyone careless enough to leave this lying around will mind too much, she says with a shrug. 28 livres. With an exchange of smiles, the chambermaid curtsies politely and leaves. Feeling reinvigorated, you decide to investigate the rest of the party. And off to another party already. This one, I suppose.
Huh.
And yes, better take my apparel down just a little bit.
Oh.
So yeah, I have absolutely run out of any sort of anything interesting to have. I've absolutely run out of anything interesting at these parties, at these military parties, and yet that's what I keep getting invited to is military parties. I just can't seem to meet with Anurad anywhere. There's been a sudden increase in soldiers taking second jobs throughout the city. Is this a dereliction of duty, or a sign that they need to be paid more? Increase or decrease the power of the military? Ah. Alright, decrease the power of the military, I suppose. Now, a whole lot of cheap gossip. Push military towards the revolution. Sell. 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 Push towards the revolution. Sadly, the public is absolutely going to find out this time. Pause to read the social pages of the newspaper while you take your breakfast, sitting at your vanity. One of the benefits of working for Pierre is getting a free newspaper every day. It's then that you nearly spit said breakfast all over your mirror when you read the social pages more closely. Paying attention to key details, you realize that the stories Pierre wrote using your gossip could be traced back to you. If you can do it, there's a good chance that someone else can too. This, of course, will not do great things for your reputation. You put down the paper and sigh. With that, your day has only begun. Hey, something that's not military. Professor and Voila requests your attendance to their garden party. Festive party is sure to be the most spectacular display of generous. Be cool if you had to play this game as Napoleon, where the game just consists of him not knowing his wife Josephine is cheating on him. So you do the most logical thing, cheat on her too. Well, I don't want to cheat though. Aren't anything. Can't tell if anything's changed. I mean, nothing's changed since the last time I looked, but it's possible it's just not showing the changes. Spend the day resting, I suppose. Decide to take the day off and spend some time at home resting and recuperating. Take care of yourself and doing some light reading. Finally feel recharged. Blah. Hurrah. How do you do things in moderation? I don't know. It's not easy to do that. Professor Catherine Noel requests the attendance to their opera gala. Purest form of Gentile. More crown gossip. Don't really care about the crown gossip, I suppose, in all honesty. Man. What does it take to meet with my lady? Staying on the absolute edge of conversations, you stroll about the square, pretending to be a traveler, just admiring the apartments and gardens. After an hour or so, you manage to overhear something useful. Pierre will be very interested in this. Bourgeoisie gossip. With your goal for the day accomplished, you find yourself about to leave, and so you notice a very interesting conversation taking place in the shadow of a statue that dominates the center of the square.
And all you need is my signature and my banking information, and you'll name me as the executor of your will.
Aha.
Therese. It's the only way I can transfer my dear departed husband's assets into my name. It was a precaution to make sure that I'm not taken advantage of when I inherit his considerable fortune. Nah. We got an 18th century version of the Nigerian prince. This is hilarious.
Yes, that all makes sense to me. How did he make this considerable fortune again?
Via his trade with the famous princes of the Onitsha kingdom in the African continent, my dear, she replies with an indulgent smile. Of course, I will be paying you a handsome finder's fee.
Ooh.
Oh, don't worry, madame. You can count on me.
Without another question, the man leaves, presumably to fetch the information this mysterious woman requested. Noticing your eavesdropping, the woman glances at you and snaps open a small black book. For a few seconds, her eyes dance across its pages. Ah, yes, you're Yvette Decaux. You recently arrived in Paris to meet with your fiancé, Armand. Something crusty on the flipper? Not crusty. It's just, like, loose threads. There's a couple loose threads. And I fidget with things. Alright, I'm kind of getting tired of holding this. I am tired of holding him, so down he goes. By the way, what was it like to deal with Maximin? I'd always had my suspicions about his romantic pursuits, but I could never really get my hands on any proof, she says, snapping the same black book shut. No, I never slam it. How do you know all of that?
Huh.
It's necessary for a woman of my profession to stay informed, she replies, as if that explains everything. Your ears perk up at the sound of rapidly approaching footsteps.
Ah, you again. Return to the scene of the crime, I see.
Good monsieur, I can't possibly know what you're talking about, the woman replies with the most ingratiating smile that she can manage.
Don't waste your time with flattery, Madame von Hirschberger. Or should I say, Madame de Gramont?
Weapon and Maple story that's just a seal toy, and it's all the normal fighting animations, and I vividly remember buying NX to buy that specific weapon. That's cute. I can safely assure you that neither of those are my name. Certainly that means you have the wrong person, no? She leans a touch closer and whispers to you. If you help me out of this, I could work for you. I'm far too old and far too beautiful to go to prison again.
Enough stalling. You're coming with me.
Not a selfish lover. You must have the wrong woman. I will have you know that this is my mother, sir.
This woman is your mother? Well, the resemblance does appear to be there. And the woman I'm searching for has no known relations,
The watchman says, squinting as he glances suspiciously between the two of you.
My apologies, madame. I must have had you confused with someone else.
With that, he marches away, leaving you alone with Therese.
Ah.
Well, that was some fine work. You're already pretty good at this, Yvette. But with my help, you could be even better. To be quite honest, I'm getting a little old to be pulling the same moves that I used to. They were good when I was still spry, but I don't bounce back from failure quite as quick anymore. Absent-mindedly, she rubs her right shoulder. And there have been failures. Nevertheless, I'm in your debt, and I'd like to offer my services as a spy mistress. I can help you avoid clandestine troubles, as well as help you determine the next step of those who wish to court you. The next steps of those who wish to court you. Generally speaking, my services cost 50 livres per week. Oof. A lot of money, but... that is pricey, but... you know what? Means I need to make about 90 livres a week just to break even, which, pretty easy, honestly. 3 pieces of gossip a week and I'm there. That sounds reasonable. Welcome to my household. Fantastique! You shall not regret this, madame. You have hired Therese, the spy mistress. It is the end of another strange but eventful day. In this particular case, you walk home with a new spy mistress in tow. How did your life get like this?
Huh.
Oof. Right off the bat, yeah. Merci beaucoup, madame! Alright. Blah. 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 Nothing. Sell this gossip. It's not worth, New. 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 Nothing useful. We have a Cafe Principe to find it, as always, packed with customers engaged in animate conversation and gesticulating wildly with cups of steaming coffee. I'll get a coffee. Blah, blah, blah. Stuff I've read before. Taking a journal and pencil, close your eyes, relax, listen to the Buffalo Bustling Cafe, blah, blah. Disheveled woman is banging her fist on her table, claiming that officials who failed to pay the army's wages on time are actually thieves. You get drawn into a conversation about the military and the bourgeoisie. Due to skipped wages, soldiers have become notoriously delinquent on their debts, and some have even reacted violently when asked to pay. This has led to some shop owners refusing to do business with soldiers at all. Nobody is certain if that's right or even legal. "What say you?" one of the patrons asks you suddenly. "I support the bourgeoisie. They have every right to only do business with the customers they trust." Favor with Madame Gazelle. For all the good it does me. Anything updated here? Jesus Christ, I can't seem to affect the, I don't know, what does it take to affect the... it feels like nothing is changing in the military. Yeah, I've tried to reduce their power. I've tried to shift them towards the revolution. Nothing is changing with it. And everything just affecting my... just a whole bunch of stuff affecting my credibility. Pointless. Get some gossip, I suppose. While it would be suspicious for you to approach these people without the benefit of a title or an introduction, there's nothing to stop you from overhearing things as you just pass by. Staying on the absolute edge of conversations, you stroll around the square, pretending to be a traveler, blah blah. Cheap revolution gossip. Socialites in the square start to filter out to their dinner appointments and other social commitments, and you decide to head home as well. For the last few weeks, discussions at the États Généraux have been dragging out and growing ever more divisive. Enraged by their unfair representation, representatives of the Third Estate have created their own body called the National Assembly, and invited members of the other estates to join them in negotiations on what would, in theory, be fairer ground. That is, this is, of course, in direct conflict with the orders of the king, who determined the voting system used in the États Généraux. The nobility in the First Estate have called on the crown to issue a swift and decisive condemnation of this rebellious act. However, His Majesty, King Louis XVI, has yet to issue any official statement on the National Assembly. Reports suggest that he has instead chosen to spend the last few days in long meetings with the courtiers of his Privy Council, trying to reach a decision. And so, in Paris, life goes on. Obladi oblada. Jesus Christ, nothing the least bit useful. When's the next party? Couple days. Suppose get another piece of gossip here. Cheap revolution gossip again. And the audio's messed up again. Alright. Selling the gossip. Stories concerning the revolution. Convenient. Book salesman arrested for printing profane criticism of the royal family. Increase the power of the revolution. Increase the power of the revolution. Exactly 0 penises in this game. Give me a moment. The messed up audio is kind of annoying me. It just keeps playing the horse sounds, like the city sounds. So get it back to normal. Just so weird how that happens. Alright, party. This is another military party. So, sure, let's wear the robe à la française. Robe à la française. Ramonda's kind of a dick. Yeah, a little bit. Triumph. Anything here that would allow me to reduce my peril? Nope, nothing to decrease my peril. And yeah, just the same choices the same things over and over again. I've pretty much, the military parties, I've done everything that I can do at them, it looks like. So, yeah, they are getting very repetitive at this point. Yeah, I got a few pieces of gossip. This morning, the representatives from the Third Estate went to meet in their usual chambers, but were blocked by a combination of armed guards and construction workers, who claimed their chambers were being shut down for renovations. When the representatives attempted to enter anyway, to hold a meeting, the armed guards forced them away at gunpoint. Without a place to meet, the increasingly angry representatives found an empty tennis court. There, they met and discussed the latest issues ahead of them, especially the Crown's latest attempt to thwart their ability to organize. They were not alone in this meeting, joined by several sympathetic members of the clergy, as well as a group of nobles who aimed to reach across the political aisle and break the deadlock that has been plaguing the État Général. In a sudden moment of unity, all the members of the Third Estate vowed that they wouldn't disband until they have established a written constitution for France. What game is this? This is Ambition, a Minuet in Power. It's a visual novel set in the lead up to the French Revolution. This is the first time the Third Estate has openly opposed His Majesty, the King. Hey, nice. Revolution gained power. Bourgeoisie gained power. And bourgeoisie has moved closer to the revolution. The exact wording of this tennis court oath borrowed heavily from the Declaration of Independence issued by the American colonists to the King of England. It's not surprising, as many of the most ardent constitutionalists were once army officers sent by His Majesty to help the Americans throw off the shackles of an unjust monarch. Now, they have brought that fight home. However, rather than relieve the growing tension, this only seems to have heightened it. His Majesty the King has yet to make a statement on the National Assembly, and this indirect effort to curtail them seems to have backfired quite significantly. And so, in Paris, life goes on. It is not a sex game now. This one is a noble party, I believe. Alright, this one will help with the crown. This doesn't really need that much help. Professor Anne Valois for a garden party.
Huh.
Again, gotta bring my peril down a little bit. In the vestibule, you hear some strange noises emanating from a coat closet. Now, whatever could that be? Tempting, tempting. Why are you trying to seduce the king? I'm not. I don't even meet the king in this game. I don't think you even meet the king in this game. The person I'm trying to seduce I haven't seen in forever. A composer of some considerable ability is eager to get a chance to speak with the Chevalier de Saint-Georges, but there appears to be quite the line. Perhaps you can help him with this problem? Get some good gossip on that one. Two guests in this room seem absolutely paralyzed with the weight of the rumors that they bear within their hearts, but neither of them are willing to speak for fear of discovery. Perhaps if you were to get one of them alone, things would be different. Who was in the closet? Not the king. Rather run-of-the-mill interaction with a lone aristocrat at a party. Let's see, some church or crown gossip. It doesn't really matter. Do any of these reduce my peril? That one would. Do I go with the sex closet, or do I go with some top-notch gossip? Sex closet, I think. Well, nah, not yet. Try to get some gossip first. Let's help the composer. You enter a crowded room and nearly bump into a man who is dressed in far more sober colors than most of the gentlemen at this party.
Huh.
I will try to do the sex closet later.
Ah, my apologies, madame. Are you here to see the Chevalier de Saint-Georges as well? My name is Angela Strassner. I'm a composer and mathematician, which is what makes me so excited to meet the man.
Sorry, Samoan.
Oh-ho.
He's an accomplished composer, a well-regarded polymath, and even a master fencer. There's really nothing the man can't do. It's no wonder that Her Majesty refers to the man as her favorite American.
His voice drops low and he gestures to the expensively dressed gentleman in the room.
However, as you can imagine, there's a significant waiting period to speak with him.
Nothing so gauche as an official list, but you know how people of rank are.
These strutting peacocks are quite attached to their established pecking order.
You glance around, and Angelo certainly isn't wrong. You recognize a few guests in the area that come from extremely powerful lineages. Simply put, they're not people one can simply barge ahead of without dangerous consequences.
I know that you hunt for gossip, and if you help me, I might have something for you.
Hard credibility challenge, so this one might fail. Pardon me, messieurs, but my friend already has an appointment with the Chevalier.
I'm sorry, you have a what?
Asks the gentleman, regarding you with suspicion.
I know one thing for certain, is that nobody here is taking appointments.
He continues, his voice enraged and imperious. You feel the eyes of many important and scandalized men staring at you. Well, shit. Angelos maintains a carefully neutral expression, while the two of you slink away from the room to somewhere quieter and less scornful. To the devil with him, Angelos mumbles to himself. Now we'll never meet the Chevalier de Saint-Georges. I'm sorry, Madame de Caux, but I must come up with a new plan. It was worth a try. With that, he leaves you to your own devices. Hopefully you can find some way to repair your reputation after that debacle. A gentleman from outside Paris is in need of introduction to another individual of note. It might be possible to turn this request into valuable information. Woman stands fuming by herself and just simmering with resentment. Resentment is a poisonous emotion to those who allow it to darken their hearts, but it's fantastically useful to people like yourself. Alright, let's try this one. Introductions. Let's see if we can make some introductions. Bonsoir, Madame de Caux, a patrician-like aristocrat says as he approaches you. That's a terrible voice.
At the risk of being too forward, I've come to you to request a favor. Don't worry, it's nothing too scandalous. I've recently arrived from Nantes, and I'm in need of an introduction to that group of young women over there.
He continues, pointing at a nearby crowd.
You see, my son will be of marrying age soon, and I'd like to make sure that certain familial inroads are open before such affairs are fully upon us.
If a nobleman from outside of Paris considers you a dependable figure for such a task, that really must mean that you've become quite established here. It also might be possible to use this to leverage some invaluable rumors. Monsieur, I must ask you a few questions before I do. Is that all right?
You wish to know more about me before you'll agree, then? Why, but of course. As a gentleman, my character is beyond reproach.
Please ask away, as I have nothing to hide. It's not a particularly long conversation. You ask him questions about certain current events to supposedly gauge his opinion, but it actually allows you to confirm key details on a rumor that you'd heard scraps of earlier. Outrageous crown gossip, nice. With your objective accomplished, you proceed to introduce him to the group of ladies that he wished to speak to. His sudden presence is enough to raise eyebrows, but you manage to smooth things over, and soon several of them are already asking extremely arched questions about both his son and his family's finances. All things considered, that seems to have gone quite well. Wouldn't be a party held by the aristocracy if someone didn't challenge your qualifications. In fact, gentlemen, is approaching, blah blah. Haha, here we go. In the vestibule, you hear some strange noises emanating from a coat closet. Now, whatever could that be? You step away from the party proper to take a break in the vestibule. You scan the guests filing in and out of the party, trying to decide where to make your next move. Suddenly, your ears perk up at the sound of something unusual. You hear the sound of a small voice coming from the coat closet. Sex pest? I have heard the term sex pest. If this is a secret tryst between star-crossed lovers, it better not be on my shawl. Drawing up the full power of your personal indignity, you approach the closet door and press your ear to it. Straining to hear what's on the other side of the door, you don't hear the messy fumbling of two lovers succumbing to their forbidden passions. Well, darn! In fact, you hear quite the opposite. It's the mumbling and crying of a young girl. Judging from the sound, she can't be older than 15. Knock on the door. Pardon, mademoiselle. Are you all right? I'm fine, says the quavering voice on the other side of the closet door. Your doubtful silence speaks volumes. Actually, I'm not fine, the voice admits. I'm very not fine. My parents forced me to come here, and I said a bunch of stupid stuff, and everyone got bored or mad, and now it's all just as bad as I thought it'd be. The voice sniffles. I just wanted to stay at home and read books about spies. My name's Amelie, by the way. Why does anyone do this? Mademoiselle, open up. I refuse to converse through a door. For a while, all you can hear is silence from the inside of the coat closet.
Huh.
Yes, madame, she replies, thrown off by the sudden sternness in her voice. You can hear her fumbling for the latch of the door. All right, I open the door, but what should I actually do? She asks, still sitting in the coat closet, eyeing you warily. Find someone much older and introduce yourself. They'll be thrilled.
Huh.
She looks at you warily, but you can tell that getting her to open the door has made this easier than it would have been before.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Someone here actually wants to talk to me? That could be good. Slowly, the closet door opens all the way. All right, here I am. Time to go do party stuff, she says, dabbing away the last traces of tears from her face. It takes a few minutes, but she finally starts to look composed. With an awkward wave, Amelie departs to rejoin the party in progress. You see a little bit of yourself in her, and you're not sure if that's a good thing.
Ah.
Party! Viscountess Carmen Foy. Quest the attendants to their pamphlet debut. Intimate party is sure to be the finest example of joyous merriment. Revolution gossip. Good, good. Bourgeoisie gossip. Do I have any bourgeoisie? Hey, Margaret. The Queen plans to grant a title to one of her closest female friends. Is the Queen recognizing merit, or merely giving honors to her personal favorites? Sell it? Queen was recently seen bedecked in a spectacular new diamond necklace. Is it a sign of royal power or a necessary excess? Sell that one too. This looks fun. Is there multiple endings? There are. There are 5? I think 5 romance paths, 5 romance options, and yeah, different endings. You can actually avert the revolution. Like, you can actually, like, sway opinion so that the revolution gets squashed. So you can actually change history. Do I want to sell this, or do I want to maybe decrease the power of the military? Do a little bit of both. Sadly, this is going to increase my, Oh. Ooh. Viscountess Audrey Mézières. Request the attendance of their church choir recital. That severity is sure to be the very height of genteel gaiety. Church gossip, alright. And this is Royal Crown Party Gossip. So I think Revolution has 4 power, Bourgeoisie has 2. Military has 2, Church and Crown both each have 1. So I think the Revolution still like to move the either weaken the military or move it towards the Revolution. At this point, probably mostly just going to be weakening it. Reminds me of Long Live the Queen. It's very different from that. I get back to the art part of Margaret. Upgraded. Good night, Margaret. It's very different from Long Live the Queen, but yeah. It's not really a... Long Live the Queen is a stat-based game, I think. This one isn't really about stats. Alright. Yeah, I think I'm going to end here. I'm not going to bother with another party, just going to end here. So, thanks everyone for coming. I continue to enjoy this game. And, I will probably be on tomorrow. So I'll see you all tomorrow. So, good night, everybody. Seely says good night.